Welcome to the Spiritual AF Life podcast, a magical place where your host, Heather Danielle, psychic medium, will bring the mystical woo-woo world down to earth in practical ways. Tune in every Monday for your weekly reading and on Wednesdays to hear fascinating conversations with spiritual experts, uplifting stories, and deep dives into the metaphysical world, all to help you tap into the invisible guidance that's all around you. It's time to start living a spiritual AF life. Get cozy, the conversation is starting now.
Welcome to your divine forecast. I am going to be channeling some messages from our spiritual team using the Hummingbird Wisdom Oracle Deck. And what I think is so funny about this is as I looked at the box right before I started recording this, I realized that it is written by Ellen Valadares, but Ellen, which is my mom's name. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. And I think I remember this, like I realized this like a while ago when I first started debating about getting these cards or not. And I just love it because you forget about things and then all of a sudden it gets, brought to your attention again. And that is still going to be a sign. It's going to be a sign from your loved one and things like that, even though it might have been something that you forgot about, because at this moment in time, they're having you remember because they're near you or they want to say hi, those kinds of things. And if you've been following me on any of my socials, especially on Instagram, you'll know that my mom has been really big at sending me signs lately. So I love this. And this deck, which is the Hummingbird Wisdom deck that I'm going to use, we were like talking about it and many of the girls were using it inside the Coffee and Cards Club. And then I just had to get it. And the messages are very sweet, but the artwork I think is just so beautiful. And that if you have any kind of connection to hummingbirds or anybody else that you know that does, this might be a really good either gift or maybe it's going to be a sign for you to get this deck. So if you are loving some of these messages from the deck, make sure that you check out what they look like either on my Instagram or in my Facebook group. Okay, so let's get right to Monday's card, which is Torpor, which I don't even know what in the world that means. It's Torpor. And the message on the card says, rest your weary wings and replenish your energy for the flight ahead. Ooh, I love this. And it says that the hummingbird is chirping out a call for you to pay attention to your energy level. Most likely, it's time for you to relax and recharge. If you continue to push yourself when you're tired, stressed, and depleted, you'll find yourself working 5 times harder and accomplishing less and less. The hummingbird is a master of energy conservation. Its tiny body and rapidly flapping wings require an immense amount of fuel. Oh my gosh. And this kind of reminds me, I'm not sure if I told you, but I had like a meditation experience where basically Spirit was telling me that I needed to do less in order to have more things like happening and more action. Basically, by doing less, you can get more done. And some of that required just allowing the natural flow of things to just unravel. So on Monday, that is going to be our motto, okay? We are going to relax and allow everything to unfold as it's supposed to. Okay, so don't fight stuff on Monday. All right, so if things aren't working out or whatever, just leave it up to your angels and spirit guide. Don't make a whole bunch of like crazy decisions, that kind of thing. Don't get in your head either. That's a really big thing for Monday. And then just allow natural courses to unfold. So if you don't have to make a decision and if you don't have to do, this or that, then don't do it on Monday. Okay, just allow and see what happens. And a couple things are coming up for me as examples that could possibly help you understand a little bit more. And that is like if somebody is, not being appropriate or someone isn't like treating you right or anything like that, you can kind of just step back and see what happens or just reach out to them and don't bring up the issue at hand. Don't bring that up. Just say, hey, and maybe say something else and then see if that happens. Because like one time I have this development group. Now it's mostly all online, but we used to meet in person. And there was one person that came that really had some negative energy and would say a lot of negative things. And I really needed to make sure that I was, bringing forth in an environment that was mostly of positivity or high vibrating beings and things like that. And I really didn't like where some of this girl's connection was going to, if you get my gist. Okay. And so I had to reach out to her, but I didn't want to create any drama. I didn't want to make things worse or anything. So I literally reached out to her and I just mentioned, I was like, oh, hey, I noticed that some of your connections have been, a little negative. How are things? And so that's all I said. And I said it in the nicest of way. And you want to know what happened? I didn't say anything else, nothing else. I don't even think I looked at the messages. I came back a few hours later and there was so much ranting and raving that she was doing to where finally at the end, she removed herself from my group. I didn't even say anything else. I literally just said the one little thing, and then she went down her own rabbit hole, and then she ended up removing herself, which ended up solving my problem, to be honest with you. But it was kind of like, okay, I didn't even do anything. And so, okay, it wasn't meant to be, that kind of thing. So sometimes even just reaching out and saying something, maybe not even about the issue at hand, but just reaching out might actually help out a lot. And that, honestly, the problem could actually solve itself. So okay, so hopefully that helps out a little bit and doesn't come across, mean, I hope. Hopefully it comes across as, we're just allowing the course to unfold. That group was not apparently best for her to be in, and vice versa. Just because something isn't, good for you doesn't mean it's, good for the other person, so it might not be mutually not good for both of you. Okay, so now for Tuesday's card, it's bird's eye view. Fly high and observe from above. Here, you'll find a new perspective, greater understanding, and compassion. I love this. And it says that the hummingbird is constantly shifting its perspective, zooming out to get a wide view of the offerings below, then darting in for a quick drink of nectar. This card is guiding you to tag along with the hummingbird and hover from higher ground to examine a current situation from every angle before dashing in with any hasty actions or decisions. Now, I'm not sure if you do this. I do this like all the time when I'm flying. And if I ever can, I'm mostly in an aisle seat now, but whenever I look out the window, I just kind of imagine like all of our problems, right? So let's say you are fighting with your spouse, you're fighting with your child, you're fighting with these family members, and you guys are inside of your house. But then as you start flying up from the airplane, and it's like, oh, wow, there's the houses, and oh my gosh, here's like these grids. Oh my gosh, look at this. Here's like the landscape. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that water was so close to us. And you keep on flying high and high and higher until you're in the clouds. And you can barely even see any of that. And so oftentimes as I am, taking off and I'm starting to fly higher and higher, higher, I'm like, oh my gosh, how incredibly silly are some of these arguments that we are having. We are too stuck inside of like our little own, lives and dramas and things like that. And so oftentimes we do have to do this bird's eye point of view where we fly above it, because then we can get a little bit more perspective. Now, here's one thing too that might help you out a little bit. It's something that I do all of the time. And what that is that I feel that life is a dream. And each one of us is dreaming our own dream. And have you ever had those dreams where it's very difficult for you to get out of? Like, I'm a crazy dreamer. So sometimes there's dreams that are like really hard to get out of. Like, you can't wake yourself up from it. Maybe someone's even shaking you trying to wake up, but you just can't. Like, you're really stuck in this dream. And so that is how I relate some people who live their lives all in like the drama of everything that's around them. It's like they're too stuck inside of their own dream. They're too stuck in the nitty gritty. They're too stuck there. But then once you start realizing that life is a dream and you can control it, you can start lucid dreaming, you can start manifesting all that stuff to where you kind of rise above that nitty gritty and you pull yourself out of that dream. And then you start seeing people around you as characters in your movie, and you start seeing like your life play out kind of like a movie. And it's kind of neat when you start thinking about it that way, because life is truly a game. And do you want to play? Like in the words of Chucky, right? Life's a game, want to play, or whoever has said that, but that's who I thought of. But yeah, it's like we have this crazy, crazy life. Like Earth is a playground. So it's time to play and it's time to wake up from that dream. Now, I believe if you're listening to this right now, you are already awakened from your dream, if you will. But there's other people that are still stuck inside that dream state, that's stuck inside of that drama or whatever, and the nitty gritty parts, of their house, and they cannot see that bird's eye point of view. And especially on Tuesday, don't allow them to drag you into any of that nitty gritty stuff, okay? Inside of any of their dramas and trauma, all that kinds of things. So that's one of the good thing about on Tuesday. But yeah, don't get into that. Don't get pulled into that dream state. Ooh, next we have for a Wednesday, we have bird bath. And it says, cleanse your dusty wings so you can fly more freely. Ooh. And it says that the hummingbird invites you to splash in the purifying waters of the bird bath to clear away any clutter that has accumulated in your mind, your home, or your energetic body. This card may be also to nudge you to detox from unhealthy habits, whether it relates to food and drink or your interactions with negative media, technology, or harsh relationships. Most importantly, Hummingbird is aligning on your shoulder to tell you this message is as light and as gentle as he is. Oh, I love this. And it just says a little bit more. It says, this is no need for self-blame or shame. Simply reflect on where your life could use some clearing today and take one small step to find a little relief. You may want to clear out your desk, clean out a drawer, or try turning off your computer, phone, or television for a few minutes a day. Love this, love this, love this. Because as soon as I seen this, I thought of like, okay, we got to sage, we got to like do the golden shower where we just imagine that the water is golden light coming down upon us, just cleansing our energy field. But it's not even just about that. It seems like that bird bath for Wednesday, Spirit's really trying to tell us to clean up our physical environment because that is subconsciously affecting us. So it can be something very simple to start off. You don't have to tackle like your whole entire home today, but it could be just like a drawer, just a shelf, rearranging some things, donating it or even selling it too. So, give someone else a deal on freaking Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that and just be like, hey, take this off my hand, 5, 10 bucks, 20 bucks. And then guess what? Take that money and instead of doing what I know that you're probably going to do, don't give it to somebody else, okay? Don't do it this way. Do something for you. Get yourself a snazzy coffee, okay? Who cares what people say about $7 coffees, okay? Sometimes they are nice. Sometimes they are a treat. Sometimes it's things for you. Maybe you'll get yourself, I know it sounds so crazy, but like a brand new pair of socks. Oh my gosh, I used to dream of new socks. At one point in my life, I couldn't even afford to buy socks that fit me. I had to wear like my husband at the time socks because I couldn't afford them. And I always dreamt of white, beautiful socks. So to me, freaking socks mean everything. And when I get a new pair of socks, I am like, yes. I know it sounds weird. That's my little quirk. You have your quirk too, okay? So I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if it's like a belt. I don't know if it's socks. I don't know if it's a new pair of like those little kid shoes. But whatever it is, then I want you to take that money and then go and buy yourself something that makes you feel good, okay? Because when you feel good, you are taking care of you and you're allowing more energy to come into you so that you can go ahead and take care of others. All right. Because I know that's what you're going to do. Right. All right. So now we are going on to Thursday's card, which is Hearts Aflutter. Ooh, I feel a lot of love coming in. Ooh, this is good. And it says, join in the dance of romance that is swirling around you. Open your wings and let love in. Okay. I just love it. It's just, I love this so much because it's really talking about that you might actually feel like romance. You might feel more love from your family. You might be giving more love. Like there is just so much that's going on in this card. And it literally says, like fireworks, a hummingbird's mating dance is a spectacular sight. Bursts of jewel tone feathers swoop in a dramatic aerial displays, while punctuated chirps and shrill songs beckon for love and attention. Can you feel it? Hummingbird asked. Your heart quickening, your soul stirring. Love is in the air. Ooh, and I want to read this too. It says, when you've been searching for your soulmate or in a relationship, new love is being born. A spark is igniting passion within you, answering your deep desire for romance and connection. Bit by bit, the flame has been kindled by your willingness to open up your heart, to forgive, to heal old wounds, and most of all, to love and respect yourself. Whew. It could also mean, though, that you are opening up to a new side of yourself that you are actually going to love. It can actually just talk about something new that's coming into your life. And if I were you, I would just pay attention to some of those little subtle cues that you might be getting from Spirit on Thursday to help you tap into, especially you personally, what that means and what kind of love is going to be coming into your life, whether it's going to be like a physical romantic kind of relationship, or whether it's going to be something like a project, a business, or something new that you're going to be starting. Okay, so now we are going along to Friday's card, and it is Glorious Breath. Oh my gosh, this is such a gorgeous card, by the way. Tune in really quick. What color do you think that is mainly on this card? 1, 2, 3. What color do you get? All right, so the first color that I see when I get this card is purple. There's lots and lots of purple, but there's also some blues and greens with a tiny bit of yellow and white. But the purple was the biggest one for me. And so if you've seen the purple, and if you got purple, that's very spiritual. So probably on Friday, it's going to be a very spiritual time, or a great time for you to connect spiritually. If you got blue, I just have to say, definitely make sure that you have softer communication on Friday. If green was your color, there's definitely healing. Okay, so make sure that you're saying healing thoughts and words to yourself, and that whatever choice that you're making on Friday are going to lead you more towards healing than the opposite. Okay, and then yellow is having confidence on Friday, maybe even going ahead and engaging in some creative endeavors. All right, so on the card it says, inhale the wonder of life, exhale and relax into the fullness of your true self. Bam. Beautiful, beautiful card. And it says, take a note from the hummingbird and breathe, breathe, breathe. While the minuscule bird breathes at a remarkably rapid rate, averaging 250 breaths per minute, Peaceful Hummingbird is here today to remind you to slow your breath in and out, give and receive, ebb and flow. That is the essence of the breath of life that connects you to the constant source of balance and well-being in the universe. In times of tension, we may unconsciously hold our breath or take shallow breaths, causing our heart rate to increase, our blood vessels constrict, and other physical reactions that over time lead to more stress and fatigue. Your breath is a precious gift, says Peaceful Hummingbird, that is there to help you anytime, any place. It seems so simple, but your conscious attention to slowing and lengthening your inhales and exhales will bring instant calm relief. How ironic is it that I just had a conversation downstairs with my husband before recording this, all about breath, literally all about breath. And I'm just going to tell you a couple of things, because what they say is that our breath is our connection to source. All right, so that we can actually connect through our breath. And that is the first thing that we do as soon as we get to this awesome planet. And it's the last thing that we do before we leave. So when you breathe, you are supposed to be breathing in, not through your shoulders. If your shoulders rise up, you're breathing kind of like the wrong way, okay? You got to breathe in from like your stomach, not into your chest and your shoulders. Well, maybe into your chest, but not in your shoulders. If your shoulders rise up when you breathe in, that is really creating a lot of back tension, okay? They're not invited to this party, okay? Your shoulders aren't. So you're going to have to try and learn how to breathe in without rising up your shoulders, so that some of that oxygen can really get into some of those areas that it needs within your body. All right, so pay attention to your breath, okay? Making sure that you are not going ahead and stopping breathing like a lot of us do. Try to breathe through your nose if you can. That's going to release some of the tension in your jaw and also into your neck. And then also, if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, you find yourself feeling out like you're getting stressed and things like that, go ahead and concentrate and go back to the breath. And then when you find out it's not working, if you're like, okay, I'm concentrating on my breath, but I still can't get over it, keep on going. And then as you talk or when you breathe, ask your spirit guides, past loved ones, or angels to go ahead and take away those thoughts. And then just keep on coming back to your breath. It's basically mindfulness. And what that's going to do is that it's going to be like going to the gym. Does that sound kind of weird? It's like taking your thoughts to the gym. And when you keep on going down certain paths, with your thoughts and rabbit holes and things like that, and you bring it back to the breath, that's actually a workout. It's like almost like you're working out your brain. So if you're like, Heather, oh my gosh, I just cannot do it, that's just because your brain, your thoughts are a little out of shape. And we got to get them back into shape. And you can do that little by little. And especially if you can do that on Friday, it will be most helpful. Okay, so now I have to tell you something else because I felt like there was another card that needed to come up. And I was like, okay, so for Friday, I actually did pull it for Friday's card. But I also felt like it had a message for the whole week. And it's actually Moon Dance. And if my calculations are correct, I think it is like the full moon that is happening on no, the new moon is happening on Friday. So I thought that was incredible that the moon dance card came up also on Friday. It was like a double whammy with a card. Oh my gosh, like a double message. So on Friday, also, it's a new moon energy. I love the new moon. I love the new moon way more than the, full moon. And it is because it is a time for new beginnings. Like every single time this comes up, you have an opportunity to write down some like new moon wishes. Like what kind of things would you love to have happen? And not just like in your life or in a couple years. No, in the next like 30 days. Like what would you really like to see happen? And then what you're going to do is you're going to write down those wishes, if you will, and put them somewhere. It's you're reminded so you don't forget what your wishes are. And so that you can also be reminded to take inspired action so that you will know when you are being guided to do something towards those wishes. Because think about this. Spirit can go ahead and intervene in your life and have really cool things happen. But the thing is that sometimes it's easier to have help. Think about it this way, when a child's trying to put on their shoes, like sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, it's really not that hard, can you just like do it? But sometimes just them helping you out a little bit, so like you helping out your child with their shoe and just helping them tie it a little bit, it might be quicker, might be a little bit faster. It would be like, man, some of the headache will just leave. And so that's the same thing, so they need you to sometimes take a little bit of action as well. And it also shows too like how much that you really believe in yourself and believe in what you are asking for. So keep that in mind, and I'm going to read what it says. It says that Hummingbird is frolicking in the light of the moon, calling you to honor and recognize the cycles of your life. Everything you are experiencing, your mood, your energy, your relationships, is connected to the greater current of your life and the universe tide that ebbs and flows, much like the ocean under the moon's gravitational pull. I love how they talk about ebbs and flows again. Like I feel like that's just one of the themes. And then it says the hummingbird moves easily and swiftly through the seasons of its brief life, and you are being guided to do the same. Appreciate exactly where you are at this moment, knowing that nothing remains stagnant. And I feel like I love that too. Be grateful. Maybe even write like a list of some of the things that you're grateful for. And if you're anything like me, I'm so grateful all the time for so many things. But think about things that you are grateful for that you haven't brought up recently. So for me, of course, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my son. Like those are my biggest like things that I say all of the time. But what about the little things? Like I don't think about like I am so grateful that my injuries have healed to where I can run again and I can walk again. I had Achilles repair surgery. That was not an easy surgery to get over. And I really need to be grateful for that. I forget about that. And so many people have had accidents in their life and they have lost limbs and all these other kinds of things, or maybe it even messed with them mentally. And I'm just so grateful that I have come out the other side of a lot of my challenges as good as I have. And, I know they always say that someone has it worse, and that is so true, but that's not really what I'm talking about now. I'm trying for you to go ahead and find all those little baby things that you have in your life that either make it easier, that you've overcome, that you're truly grateful for, but you might not even realize that you're grateful for it. Maybe it is something that you take for granted. And I used to hate it when people said, oh, you're one that takes things for granted, which they never said it to me, but I never wanted to be one of those people. But the thing is, it's true. We do. Like I'm talking to you right now and I'm taking for granted my voice. I'm taking for granted my ability to, be long-winded and stuff like that. Some people don't even have the energy to be able to hold conversations. And so it's like all those little baby things, your little coffee mug, your pen that you love, your pillow that you love to go to sleep with, all those little baby things. And that's really what I want you to think about on Friday. And then that's what might help you also see what other kind of vibrations, other kind of energy, other kind of emotions that you want to bring in to your life in the next 30 days with that new moon energy. Because that new moon energy, it starts off in more of like a yin, and then it just kind of, almost like a river, if you will. It just gets some kind of momentum, and then it can lead you exactly where you want it to be. There's little things that God has given us in this life that can really help us just navigate this life and to help us out along the way. And I feel like the new moon is one of them. So definitely take advantage of that. All right, I had so much fun with you today, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Thanks for tuning in to the Spiritual AF Life podcast. You'll find all the links to resources and more in the show notes. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the incredible episodes that are coming up.